Hi, guys. Welcome again to The Bar. This is a podcast for people who are becoming. We raise the standard one conversation at a time. And today, this episode is about me and my journey. And I'm going to be asked by some questions with my team members. And yeah, let's go. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it took me a year. I did season 1, 10 episodes, but never got to release them. And I'll take this chance to apologize to the people who shot season 1. But then we always want the finished product, but we never talk about the messy middle, which is something I'm going to talk about. So starting a podcast is quite something. These are things you're never told when you start the journey. So first of all, location, logistics, the cost of production, and then you, which is the biggest challenge, yourself, myself in this case. I was going through a lot of imposter syndrome, the fear of coming out, the fear of visibility and putting myself outside there. I hadn't dealt with that. So I had so many doubts and fears on the timing, on when it's right to do this. But I think as I went through the journey, I got to find out that there's never a right time. And discipline is all about do it afraid, do it broke, do it with doubts. That's the only way you manage your imposter syndrome. So the imposter syndrome was one, that fear of just putting myself outside there. Have I overcome the fear? I don't think so. But like I said, we're going to do it regardless. So another thing is cost. So I had not researched very well the cost of setting up this whole thing. It is quite costly. So what I'd advise is you look at various options, just the way you do an interview for an employee or a partner relationship, a friendship. Look at various invoices, determine which one is within your budget. For myself, I took something that was way above my budget, and this made me stall my dream. So the guys were actually brilliant with their shooting and everything, but I had not, I was not honest with myself on if I could afford it. And there are so many people in the industry, so you don't have to really start expensive. You can just start with what you have. The third reason would be locations, logistics. So I'll give you a background story. Even before we shot this season 2, we had arranged everything with the videographers, the location where you're supposed to shoot, then there's the makeup artist, all those logistics. And so just the night before, I'm being called and being told it cannot work. So you've told your guests who you're supposed to explain to about your vision. And you're the only person who understands your vision. So you've told your guests and you've tried to convince them to take time out of their schedule and join you in your journey. It's quite something. And then now location tells you you're not able to shoot the night prior. Those are some of the messy middles that you're not told about. Or sometimes a guest just cancels. You're already on shoot, on site. You're expecting a guest and the guest just doesn't show up. Those are things we don't talk about enough. So always have a plan B, whether it's with your production team, with the team you've set in place, with your guests, always have a plan B. Location sometimes can be very tricky because that depends. Your guests will judge you kind of with the location you take them to. So you can take somebody to a B&B with all these stories that have been going around with B&Bs. To convince somebody to come to a B&B for a shoot, that can be quite challenging. Then there are locations that also charge per hour. So like you're supposed to shoot on a location and they charge you like almost 8 to 10,000 shillings an hour, and you're supposed to do a shoot the whole day. So you see, the logistics of doing a podcast is not, all that you think. It's not that merry, is what I'm saying. So just doing the logistics of location, the team you're putting on ground, aligning with everything. Yeah, that's why it took me all this time to release season one. And I can say I've not yet aligned in everything, but we move regardless. Yeah. Raising the bar. What does raising the bar? That's a really good question. So raising the bar is talking to bar setters, talking to people who are creating, people who are building, people who have taken an unconventional path towards whatever it is they're doing in their lives. So regardless of if people are for their ideas or if people like their product, they believing in your vision, believing in what it is you've set to do in life, whether you're an entrepreneur or a sports person or an employee. Raising the bar is just believing in yourself and betting on yourself when nobody else understands your vision. Yeah. Wow, that's a good question. Maybe I should say how life lowered the bar for me, but I'll speak it according to now the podcast. I'll go back to the same point. You just have to believe in yourself. So I had to look at the person in the mirror. I know one thing about me. I love what I do. I believe in what I do. And I believe my opinion is just as valuable as the other person's opinion. I believe in my vision. So it was quite a saddening moment for me to be able to not share my dream to inspire somebody else, which is what the podcast is even about. To hear people's stories, to hear people's challenges and how their doubts and how they were able to overcome it, to inspire somebody who wants to begin. And so it was quite a low moment not being able to do that. So I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and that is where I started. So one of the books that inspired me the most at the beginning of the year, which was when I decided I'm going to go back to this journey, was Who Moved My Cheese. I don't remember what the author's name is, but the book is Who Moved My Cheese. And I think one of the things I got from the book was, what does the other side of fear look like? Like, so yeah, you're seated on this side of fear where you're doing nothing and you're just letting your dream go by. But what is the best case scenario like? What does the other side look like? So I had to go to myself and just journal and call myself for a meeting and tell myself, hey, you've wanted this for so long, and so we've sat on one side of the coin. Let's try the other side. How does that look like? And one thing the book inspired me was telling me to do it afraid. So you're afraid? Okay. So do it afraid. So you don't have money to support the dream? Okay. So do it without money. So you don't, because you'll always have an excuse on why you've not done what you've not done. So how I raised the bar was I bet on myself. I decided, worst case scenario, I'm going to learn from whatever this is. Best case scenario, it pans out for me. And yeah, here we are. And yeah, I'm back again, putting myself outside there. Because two things, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And another thing, pressure is privilege. So many people would give to have this opportunity to just have such a setup and do what it is that they've panned out to be. So if you get such an opportunity, whether it's location, logistics not aligning, whether it's finances not aligning, whether it's you don't have a team, start with your phone. Start where you are. Just start. Yeah, that's how I raise the bar. Yeah. Um, it's a good one as well. Some of the habits I do, I used to have this bad habit of pouring from an empty cup. And what that does to you, it chips away at your self confidence, at your self esteem, at your finance, at everything. So, what I've learned over time are developing habits that pour into my cup, fill my cup. So, on a daily basis, without fail, I will give gratitude for what it is I have. I'll give gratitude for air. I'll give gratitude for the steps I take. I'll give gratitude for being able to journal. I'm a medic, I'm in the medical industry, and people don't understand how valuable it is to be able to just write. When you encounter a patient who cannot be able to write, a patient who cannot be able to talk, maybe because they've been put like like a tube, that's when you know the value of health and the value of things. So habits I've developed are giving gratitude for whatever it is, pouring into myself emotionally, physically, spiritually. I have to be aligned. Every day I have to point to myself physically, whether it's taking steps or strength training or eating right, eating, I don't want to say clean, but eating the right things. So maybe take shea seed water or take a certain amount of grams of proteins per day. I have poured into myself. Taking my supplements, drinking my water. That's the most free thing anybody can do. That's a habit I've done. So I have to give gratitude. I have to journal. I have to pour into myself mentally by reading. I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of informative podcasts that are aligning with where I want to go. Yeah. So those are the habits I do without fail. As for my values, I am so big on consistency, just being consistent in everything that you do. I am big on being intentional as a person. You need to be intentional with whatever it is you're doing, whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships, whether it's parenting, which I am, whether it is just being intentional, is a value I'm big on. I'm big on presence, being a present person, being self-aware and just noticing things, listening more than talking. I'm big on that. I'm big on reciprocity. Do unto others what you want them to do to you, just showing up for people and giving back to people. Yeah. Yes. So those are the habits and values that I have developed as a person. Wow, those have been many. Hearing no a lot. I hate hearing no. And sadly, that is the reality of life. You have to be told no so many times. But you know what? That discomfort is what I wake up and show up for every day. So the discomfort of being told no, no, it can't work. No, we don't have business. No, no, you can't start now because your finances are not aligning. Like I said before, pressure is privilege. And so I don't run away from risk. I run towards risk every single day. That doubt, that feeling of I'm afraid, I run towards it to just prove to myself I can do this and more. So my biggest rejection is just either being told no or telling myself I cannot do it. So I like that because now then I have to prove to myself that I can do it. Yeah. Who am I? I am a bar setter who is becoming. That is so textbook. Yeah. Yeah, but basically it's the truth. I am just a person who is becoming a person who I like to call myself a creator. I don't know whether it's digital, but a creator. I like to create things. I like to create experiences. I'm a business woman, so I have so many businesses I do. I like creating things from scratch. It challenges me, it grows me every day, and I love growth. So my origin story is I create the life that I want to live, I create it. I want to drive that nice car, I create avenues to drive that nice car. I want to wear nice things, I create. I want to travel overseas, I create. I always create good experiences for myself. I just never wait for anyone to show up for me or save me. I don't become entitled to anybody's time or money. I simply create. I am Bella Benazir, the creator, and I will continue creating. And that's why I love featuring stories about people who are like me, who are building, who are creating, people who have decided to follow an unconventional path and just do it. You know, people who have unique stories to them. I don't really go for finished products, the CEOs or celebrities. I go for people who are just your ordinary guy, your neighbor, your friend, who is also just doing something extraordinary. Yes, and I listen to their stories and they are inspirational and there are many. So, yes, my origin story is that I am a creator. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it inspires somebody. This has been The Bar, of course, the podcast of people who are becoming. Thank you and see you next time.